Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Brajajana Randana Yasodanandana Brajajana Randana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Brajajana Randana Yasodanandana Brajajana Randana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Brajajana Randana Yasodanandana Brajajana Randana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Brajajana Randana Yasodanandana Brajajana Randana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Brajajana Randana Yasodanandana Brajajana Randana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Brajajana Randana Yasodanandana Brajajana Randana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Vishvahat Paramahamsa Parivakacharya Soga Sadashri Shima and His Divine Grace Ace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, Asa Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Gari Govardhana ki jai. Vrindavanam ki jai. Mayapur Dham ki jai. Ganga Maya ki jai. Yamuna Maya ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Bring up Madanga Book Distribution ki jai. Prashadam Distribution ki jai. New Govardhana Dham ki jai. Gopamanande. All glories to some of the devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to some of the devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to some of the devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Gaura and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Shyam, can I get some water, please? Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone to the Sankirtan Book Distribution meeting today. Thank you for coming. And today, after this meeting, if any of you are able to come, a few of us are going down to Byron Bay for a few hours for some book distribution. Harinam, Shyam's coming, and we've got some prashadam for distribution as well. So, book distribution is a very important activity. Srila Prabhupada said it's the most powerful, most important way to preach and spread Krishna consciousness. He gave this simple example that, of course, Harinam Sankirtan is very important and very purifying for everyone who hears the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. The Prabhupada said the Harinam Sankirtan can be heard for 1 or 2 blocks at the most, but the book distribution, when people get books like in Byron Bay or the Gold Coast, they may take them to Perth or to London or Los Angeles and give to some of their friends in a faraway city somewhere. So in that way, it's called the Brihat Mridanga, the greater Mridanga, for spreading the glories of Krishna's pastimes, name, qualities, forms like this. And these books are full of description of the transcendental glories of Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, his name, form, qualities, pastimes, and all his wonderful devotees. And Prabhupada said if people just get one of these books, and if they just even read one line or one page or one word, they're eternally benefited. Even one word is so powerful. And Prabhupada said these books are solutions to all the problems of the world. So we can understand it's Kali Yuga and there's so many problems. Kaludo Shenatira Janastahik and Mahadgana in the 12th canto states that this Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, an ocean of problems. There's so many, so much sinful activity, meat eating, intoxication, gambling, illicit sex, and so many misconceptions about the meaning of life. No one has any clear understanding that they're not this body, they're an eternal spirit soul, servant of Krishna, and they don't understand that sense gratification is not the goal of life, and they have no understanding where they're going to beyond this life. So much confusion. So Prabhupada said these books give the perfect questions and the perfect answers. Perfect answers to all the most perfect questions. There's that little book Prabhupada has, Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers. And the Bhagavatam in one verse, Krishna Sadama Bhagavate Dhamma Gana Visaha, it says this Srimad Bhagavatam is as brilliant as the sun because it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna for his own abode, accompanied by knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who lost their vision due to the dense darkness of the age of Kali will get light from this Bhagavad Purana. So it's the real, these books, Srila Prabhupada's books, are the real beacon to help people fully understand their real goal of life and how they can reunite their eternal relationship with Krishna. So this activity, book distribution, was very pleasing to Srila Prabhupada. He was always very pleased to hear devotees going out in books, and he was always wanting to hear the scores, how many books were distributed like this. And probably most of us came because we got a book, maybe we heard the Harinam, got some prashadam, but especially when we started reading Srila Prabhupada's books, we became convinced that this Krishna consciousness is where it's at. This is what I'm looking for. This can give solutions to all my problems. So this is the Sankirtan, part of the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and by going out and contacting people, then we're giving so many people a chance to come in touch with this wonderful lifestyle and philosophy. And this Sankirtan going out, book distribution, Harinam, Prasadam is so powerful that not only the people who get direct connection, but by going out and doing this Sankirtan Yajna, the sacrifice, then Krishna will inspire even others who didn't directly have contact, inspire them within the heart to come to the temple and take part and join up. And Prabhupada would say that, when did I ever say that preaching would be easy? That when we go out, book distribution is not an easy service, because you get so many rejections out there, so many people, they're very opposed to spiritual life, to Krishna consciousness, so we shouldn't be surprised that you get so many rejections out there. But we have to understand that we're not the doer, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 247, Krishna sa dhamma bhagate dhamma gana visaha. Krishna, no, wrong verse. Kamani eva adhikaraste mapadesha vidachana. Says that you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you're not entitled to the result. The result's for Krishna's pleasure. Never consider yourself the cause. We're not the doer, Krishna's the doer. And don't be attached to not doing your duty. Just like Arjuna, his duty was to fight. He was a Kshatriya, but he was trying to decline and say, how can I kill all my cousins and uncles on the other side? But Krishna was preaching to him that, no, this is your duty, you're a Kshatriya, you'll be considered a coward if you run away from the battlefield. So if our duty is to go out and preach, then we should not neglect that duty as much as possible, as much as we have a chance. Go out for preaching. So it's it may be difficult, and you'll all experience, and if you haven't been out already on books, and those who have been out, like Muktaram, Shyam's done a bit, Nanda's maybe done a bit, you understand that there's a lot of people very opposed, and they're very attached to their materialistic life. Just like Prabhupada compared them to like a worm in stool, a worm in animal dung, that you pull a little worm out, he crawls straight back in, because the worm is thinking he's got a very nice, comfortable, wonderful home in that stool. So people, it's very hard to extricate them from their materialistic life. But if they get enough contact with devotees, they eat enough prasadam, they hear the holy name again and again, get books again and again, then eventually they'll become purified and want to take Krishna consciousness seriously. So we have to give them, these people out there, just as devotees went out and met us, we have to give people as much opportunity as possible. Krishna Kirtan was just telling me about the new pamphlet. I haven't seen it, but we're going to get some today to give out to people, and he was saying it's a wonderful pamphlet. New pamphlet about the farm. You got them there. Yeah, nice. So you just have to, when you go out there, you have to be just enthusiastic. You have to pray a lot to Srila Prabhupada and your spiritual master, to Krishna, to help you engage these people in taking books. Practically, it's the most difficult service, because any other service, like you can mop the floors, you can do the gardening, you don't have to call out in desperation to Krishna, please help me, this service is so hard to mop the temple room floor. Or even to perform Harinam Sankirtan. Anyone can go out and sing and dance in the street, right? But confronting people directly, face to face with these books, you really have to pray a lot. And but you have to be enthusiastic at the same time, and work hard, and never give up, and always don't be disturbed by people rejecting you. It's not a personal thing, they would reject anyone, you know. And just be nice to people. Just be nice to people, leave people with a nice taste, even if they don't take a book. You know, if they don't take a book, you can just give them a small one of these magazines and wish them a nice day, and thanks for your time, like that. So these books, as any devotee who's been studying Srila Prabhupada's books understand that they're very relishable, they're very totally on the transcendental platform. They're never boring or hackneyed. Like materialistic books, people read them once or the newspaper and they chuck them away. But these books, you can read them over and over again and get newer and newer fresh meanings. Prabhupada said the books are like sugar candy. Wherever you taste a nice sweet, whatever end you taste it, it's all sweet. So these books, whether you read from the beginning or the end or in the middle, wherever you open, you'll find some very attractive pastimes to do with Krishna and his devotees, and very amazing wisdom and knowledge that is pertinent to every one of us. And Prabhupada would say that these books are like, they're like time bombs. Like, a time bomb, it doesn't explode straight away, but it's ticking, 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 and eventually it explodes. So people, when they get these books, they're like time bombs, because people, if they respectfully put them in their house, like many people we meet, they don't read the book straight away, but they're respectfully putting them on their bookshelf, and they may open it like 6 months later. And then, or a friend may get the book like a year later off the shelf. And then they open it up and they, immediately it's like a time bomb exploding all their materialistic desires. So I can just tell just maybe a story, a book distribution story. So this was 21 years ago. I was in Taiwan with Dr. Ben, who's here, Ben Nichols, and Parama Karuna, and Dhruva, who's over on, what's that island called? I've forgotten the name of the island. No. Yeah, anyway, Dhruva, who's over there, and one other devotee. 5 or 6 of us were in Taiwan. And we're doing books every day in our saffron robes, and it was great over there. People over there really respect monks a lot. So we were doing, each of us was doing like, 70, 80, 100 hardcovers a day, and collecting like $700, $800, $1,000 a day. And we were doing the city, universities, and then we were doing the trains, and it's like sardines on the trains, packed with thousands of people, There's like 25 million people in an island the size of Tasmania. Tasmania's only got 500,000 people. So you can understand, it's very packed. The trains were packed, and we were going from one end of the train to the next, like selling books. Then we were doing really big, and after some time the train conductor, the police came on, and when we got off at the station, the police were there and saying, this is, what you're doing is against the law. They were speaking in Taiwanese, so we couldn't understand, but we could understand that they were telling us that this is against the law, and they were pointing to a sign which said so much fine, for doing this sort of activity. So we stopped someone who was getting off the train. Can you please translate, because we can't really understand, he can't really understand us. So this person understood English, and he translated that we were just monks, and we're begging for forgiveness, and we bowed down to this policeman, and then the policeman let us off, he let us go. And then we thought, let's try the country trains going out of Taipei. Taipei is the main city. We're going out of Taipei into the country. And we started doing all the people on the country trains, and it was like even bigger. It was even better. Even more books were going out. So there's no hard and fast rules. There's no limit where you can do book distribution on the trains. Of course, there's no train around here, but if you go to big cities like Sydney, Melbourne, you can do on the trains, buses, if you're daring, on the platforms. We used to do on the platforms in Sydney, at the big shows, in pubs, at the horse races, anywhere where there's stacks of people. If you're daring, you can take the books. We used to go to the Sydney show, Melbourne show, Adelaide show. The Melbourne show, Dunda Karanya, he was one of the devotees with me. There was about 6 of us lined up along the main arena road. And if people, didn't take a book from the first devotee, they get hit up by, a few other devotees along the track. And Melbourne show was they didn't catch us at all. The security didn't catch us. We were going through the whole 10 days without any problems. Sydney show was a lot hotter. The security guys would catch us, kick us out, and we'd come in the back gate, keep working. Anyway, so I won't talk anymore. Maybe Muktaram Prabhu, would you like to say a few words?
You can say a couple of things. Just.
Do you want to come up here because it's on YouTube, so it'd be good to.
Oh, okay. I don't really have much to say, but one thing I thought of is that when Prabhu was telling about going to different places, like you can go anywhere and try to spread Krishna consciousness, made me think about how when Rupa Raghunatha was he was on vacation with his family in Thailand, was it? Or were you? And you said you were doing Harinam, with your family when you were going to a restaurant or somewhere, you would do in Bali, doing Harinam along the street while you were going, and you were, I remember a video on Facebook, you were at the beach and they were playing some trance music, techno or something like that, and you were like, Hare Krishna, in Thailand, and you were singing the Hare Krishna mantra to that. It just reminded me of how to, also my spiritual master tries to not just do it, dedicate a whole day for going out on books, but just like this general kind of mood of spreading Krishna consciousness, whatever you're doing. On his way to a plane, he's flying to a different country, whatever, he'll distribute books on the way while he's going through security or, meeting people or going to the grocery store, just meet somebody and when he says just like adding that to your life can kind of make a mundane activity transcendental, to do it in your day-to-day life. And it doesn't have to be always books, but just like have that general mood of trying to represent Prabhupada and Krishna consciousness wherever we are, kind of thing. And then people actually, people come up and ask us questions about our beads or our hair or whatever, and that's a preaching opportunity. And it's always good to have some books with us wherever we are, kind of thing. And something that I'm reminding myself of while I'm saying this is that I used to have a couple of books in my backpack for a while, but I haven't had it for a while now. So. Yeah, and one thing I thought about is also like we're trying to, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about ahimsa, non-violence. It's a very important quality of a Vaishnava, to be non-violent. And we think that means, not violence against animals, which is true, but it goes deeper than that. It's actually, Prabhupada in the purport talks about how non-violence means to never stop preaching Krishna consciousness to others, because a person may live a very sattvic lifestyle, vegetarian, try to not harm others, but they will still take another birth in this world unless they realize their true identity of spirit soul. So that's what we're trying to do, to kind of go out and remind people of who they are and their relationship to Krishna, and that's true non-violence, to kind of revive that Krishna consciousness that we've forgotten. And also we're going out, while we do that, it's not only we're doing it for them, like I'm not even qualified to really help somebody, it's more like we're doing it for ourselves as well. It's such it's a high sadhana, it's a really, really powerful type of sadhana to go out and try to give something to somebody else, because we realize things about our own selves, and we try to bring Krishna in and become an instrument, because I don't have the power I can't even lift a finger unless Krishna allows me to. Like my whole body, my whole existence is just a part and parcel of Krishna. So if it wasn't for Krishna, I wouldn't exist. So I can't really, do anything on my own accord, even. So what to speak of, like trying to inspire somebody who's covered by the modes of ignorance and passion to start, seeing Krishna somewhere, So that's something that we need to be empowered to do, and it just. So when we go out, we kind of naturally have to, be personal with Krishna and personally ask him to help us and be an instrument and to try to inspire others in that way. So that's something that's really beneficial for ourselves as well. So, So it's also a selfish activity in one sense, because it really, really helps us to to become very fulfilled in our Krishna consciousness. It adds that aspect to it, where we really like, we're with Krishna when we're doing that. We see him, how he's acting. He makes us say things we never even thought of saying, and inspiring people in ways we never knew we could, because it's not us. So that gives us a lot of faith that Krishna is actually there. It's a real process like that, and to see the taste in others when they first take it up, or when they show some interest, just on the streets of some pretty degraded place, in town where people are very selfish and very much in the modes of ignorance. So that's very inspiring to see when people have that interest in Krishna consciousness, like that first spark.
Can we ask questions?
Yeah.
So I would be nervous if I don't have a reply about something, or they might, and then I'd feel like I was doing a disservice to Krishna, to the depth and knowledge of the books, or would I say, maybe, if, I don't know, I don't want that to happen, but I can imagine it may. Or as you said, Krishna hopefully will work through one, and I will have a reply.
Yeah, it can happen both ways. I mean, it happens all the time. I don't know about others, but for me, like, I haven't done it for quite a while, but when I used to do it more regularly, there would always be some question I didn't know exactly how to answer it. But I think people appreciate when we're honest, and we just don't try to just come up with some answer. They're honest. They like when people show some humility that, I don't know everything, because a lot of times preaching people like try to come out and think they know everything, and that pushes people away. We don't always have an answer. Like, even if I ask a very advanced sannyasi or devotee who has a lot of knowledge, there's a lot of times they don't know this specific answer to what I'm saying, and I may have to ask a few people to get there. But at other times, Krishna might just give you the answer. That has happened to me a couple of times too, and I'm like, oh yeah, I did read that like 1.5 years ago or whatever, or like it just comes from somewhere. Krishna can bring up, make you remember something that you didn't remember initially. Did you have an answer to that, Prabhu? Something?
Also, like Prabhupada said, no, these books are not just for selling. These books are for the devotees to read and study and really learn. Prabhupada said you should know these books like a lawyer knows his law books back to front. Prabhupada said these are the law books for the next 10,000 years. So you really have to know the philosophy somewhat to be able to go out and preach. Of course, you don't have to wait for years before you fully understand the philosophy before going out there and preaching. It's a desperate situation out there. The world can't wait for this knowledge, and we need to go out there straight away. But you should have a program of regularly reading the books yourself at the same time, not just be like spending hours and hours out there selling books, but spending time reading and learning the knowledge yourself as well. And
the great thing is that they're easy to read. They've always been, so that's what I found with Prabhupada's books.
Yeah, especially when you take up Krishna consciousness and become easy to understand the philosophy. So newer people or people out in the street may be a little difficult because their consciousness is not yet purified. But through a lot of chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and Maha Prasad, association of devotees, doing service, then you become more purified and really understand these books. Prabhupada said these, sometimes Prabhupada was criticised that your movement is brainwashing people, And Prabhupada would say, yes, our books are brainwashing because these people out there in society, their minds and heads are full of so much ignorance and, full of horrible activities, meat eating, intoxication, gambling, illicit sex. So Prabhupada would say, yes, these books, if people take to this Krishna consciousness, we're giving them a brain and we're washing their brain at the same time. So it's very necessary. The whole society is basically, in a very precarious position. So many horrible activities going on all around the world, and this is the only real knowledge that can save people individually and collectively like this. So as much as possible, you have to get out there, but have a balance ourselves, like Krishna says, yukta hara vihara sha Bhagavad Gita. One who has a balance of eating, sleeping, recreation, work can mitigate all the miseries by practicing this yoga system. So you have to have balance of sadhana, your study, your chanting, your service, prasadam, not too much, not too little prasadam, and good association with devotees, and balance that with going out and doing service here in the farm or off the farm in the form of preaching. And I have another story to tell.
Would you like to sit here and tell the story?
Well, he's filming me here, so that's all right.
Okay, no need microphone.
So myself and Adi Keshiva, who cooks in Lucid now and the farm for the Gurukul, he did book distribution for many, many years, and he and I were going out at one stage, and we were doing many different towns, and we'd even go to small towns where there was just maybe 100 or a few hundred people population in the town. And we'd always start with a Harinam in the beginning of the day. Even just there was like 12 or 15 shops in the street of that little town. We'd go up and down for 10-15 minutes doing a Harinam, and there wasn't many people on the street in those towns, but we go shop to shop, and quite often we have a lot of success. So we went to this one town just south of Sydney, little town Bargo, and there was a chicken shop there. And sometimes you might think, oh, gee, those sort of places, they're not going to buy books, a butcher shop or a chicken shop. But we went in there, I went in there, and the lady said, I used to go to your farm at Colo River, which is the farm west of Sydney the devotees used to have, now they've sold it. And they bought the farm at Cessnock, Cool. And I used to go to your farm for Sunday feasts, and I'll take some books. And I showed her a few different hardcover books, and she ended up buying 3 or 4 hardcovers and gave $100 donation, So you just don't know, even in these tiny little towns, a shop that, you might think, it's a waste of time to go in such a shop. But there's even, devotees, potential devotees or devotees who have practiced before working in these sometimes horrible places. And we had great time just going to Harinam every day. We just do one Harinam in every little town. So we were travelling around Tasmania, and we go to every town around the island, doing a Harinam first thing in the morning at 9 o'clock, just as the shops were opening. People are just coming onto the street, Harinam, and we found that would really break the ice, with people when we came into the shops and met them on the street. They saw us dancing and chanting very happy people, so they seemed to break the ice and approaching them with books was a good way to start the day. And that way we didn't keep it up for years on end, but we had the sort of plan that we try and do a Harinam in books in every town, around New South Wales and Victoria. We didn't complete it, but there's still a lot more towns we didn't get to. But it's a good, definitely a good program. So anyway, does anyone else want to say a few words? Nandu, Shah?
Can't give anything more.
Otherwise, okay, well it's getting on to 10 o'clock. So I know Shah was able to come out today. You're able to come out for a while. Did you say you're free today to come out? Oh, I thought you were. Sorry.
I didn't know we were planning to come today.
Yeah, you're not free, you're working. What time do you work?
In the afternoon, but I have things to do at home.
Okay. Are you able to come out for a while? Yeah? Nanda, you've got something on, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, 3 of us could go. I made some banana and ginger halva. I don't know if there's any kitchery left we can take. We'll set up a book table in Byron Bay. And we could do some techniques on the street, we can teach some lines out there,
Yeah.
and we'll just see how it goes. And we could also find out when. I know Shyam said he's available on Tuesdays. I don't know when you're available, what other days. If you've got set days, you might be able to come out. So have a look at your roster,
Yeah.
and we can work on which days.
Because Because it would be nice to decide a time where we can regularly go out, not just like every week, a different day, but if people are able to, or at least just once a month or something, you know, like...
Friday we could probably leave like 9:30 or something, what do you think? Or even 9 o'clock, like straight after Prashadam.
Yeah.
Meet here and go from here.
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So if anyone knows anyone else who might be free or enthusiastic, you can let them know Friday. You can start this Friday. Okay, so...
Are you guys going out today?
Sorry?
Are you guys going out
Yeah, we're going out today. And so, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Are you still filming? Hare Krishna. Thank you for everyone's attendance, those here and those online. And please stay in tune if you want to go out and book distribution. There's a few of us who go out regularly or semi-regularly. You can get in touch with myself, Muktaram, other devotees, and you can come out for a few hours or a day, one day a week, or sometimes we could do marathons. Like some countries, they do book distribution marathons, like Christmas marathon, of course. Like that's very traditional. A lot of temples do like 4 weeks leading up to Christmas. But other temples, they do marathons like all through the year, like the Sringadev marathon, Gorpane marathon, Radhaspami marathon, like that. So we can, those can be maybe shorter, like a week marathon. So we can also maybe put that into effect as well.
How can they get in touch with you?
Sorry?
How can they get in touch with you or Muktaram?
Just through email or phone call, like that. And as much as possible, it's good to always take Prashadam. Today we've got some Prashadam. We can take Prashadam out with books, it's very nice. And some Harinam. Sharma will be doing Harinam today, and we can join in. So it's very nice to have the whole package deal, So these things all accompany each other very nicely together. When people get books, if they can get Prashadam and hear the holy name, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, getting a lot more benefit at the same time. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Zental Book Distribution ki jai. Also, before we finish, we have this wonderful little brochure put out by Krishna Kirtan, Ram Prasad, and I think Krishna Rupa Mataji was involved. It's a wonderful little magazine all about New Govardhana. Mostly pictures, because most people these days are very attracted by pictures, a little bit of writing. Of course, enough writing to give people a good understanding of some of the philosophy and what's going on with protecting the cows and the school and the Krishna village. Beautiful magazine, actually.
That's wonderful.
Lots of beautiful pictures of so many beautiful devotees and beautiful cows. So we have Krishna Kirtans and the vegetarian delights, the Prashadam delights. So Krishna Kirtan Prabhu said we have 50,000 of these to give out. So let's try and pump them out. Even if people don't give a book or don't want to give a donation, they can have one of these for free.
For sure.
Jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. New Govardhana ki jai. Distribution ki jai.